Hello guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto married Tsunade and ruled Konoha? And subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and also check the description. So let's begin the story. Intro. Imagine if the most powerful woman of the ninja world, the Sannin Tsunade, and the most determined shinobi, Naruto Uzumaki, got married and ruled Konoha together. What would their relationship look like? What would become of Konoha? And most importantly, would peace prevail, or would a new war begin? Let's explore. What if Naruto married Tsunade and ruled the Hidden Leaf together? The Hokage's office. Afternoon sunlight. The warm rays of the afternoon sun filtered through the wide windows of the Hokage's office, casting golden patterns on the floor. Papers were scattered on the massive oak desk, some in perfect stacks, others half-read and forgotten. Behind the desk sat the Godame Hokage, Tsunade Senju, the slug princess of the legendary Sannin, looking not at the documents but out the window toward the village below. Her golden eyes held a storm of thoughts. She had ruled Konoha through the hardest of times, after the invasion, through Akatsuki's threat, Pain's assault, and the Fourth Great Shinobi War. And now, peace. But peace, Tsunade had learned, brought with it a different kind of struggle, loneliness. The door opened with a knock that didn't wait for an answer. No one else dared to barge into the Hokage's office like that, except him. "Yo, Ba-chan!" Naruto's voice rang like sunshine. "You're still here? I thought old people needed afternoon naps," Tsunade snorted. "You're calling me old when you still wear orange like a toddler with a crayon addiction," Naruto grinned, leaning on the desk. He had grown taller now, more muscular, more mature, but the boyish fire never left his cerulean eyes. "I brought you dango," he said, waving a paper bag. "You mean you ate 3 and left me 2? She replied, arching a brow. Naruto scratched his head sheepishly. "How'd you know?" Tsunade sighed but took the dango anyway. "You never change, and yet..." Naruto's voice dropped slightly. "Some things do." Tsunade looked up, startled by the rare seriousness in his tone. Their eyes locked, and for a moment the whole world paused. 1 week later, Konoha training grounds. Naruto's punches thundered against a wooden dummy, his movements sharp, precise, focused. He wasn't training out of duty. No. He was thinking about her, Tsunade. He didn't know when the feelings started. Maybe after the war, when he saw her collapse from chakra exhaustion while healing hundreds. Or maybe it was during those quiet nights in the hospital, when she sat by his bed, thinking he was asleep. She'd whisper words meant only for herself, of regret, of lost family, of love left unspoken. Or maybe it was in those shared cups of sake when they both just laughed. But this wasn't a normal crush. Tsunade was the Hokage, a legendary kunoichi, decades older, and once his mentor. "Does age really matter to the heart?" Naruto muttered. "You tell me," said a voice behind him. Tsunade stood there, arms crossed, in her white coat and sleeveless blouse, watching him. Her gaze wasn't just amused, it was curious. Challenging. Naruto turned, trying to hide his blush. "How long were you?" "Long enough to see you destroy a perfectly good dummy," he laughed nervously. "Guess I've got a lot on my mind, like the fact that you've been visiting me daily for 2 weeks with no real reason." Naruto froze. Busted. Well, I like talking to you." Tsunade walked up to him, close enough that he could smell her perfume. Something floral and soothing. "You like talking to me?" she repeated, voice low. "Naruto, what exactly are you trying to say?" He swallowed. "I think I've fallen for you." The silence that followed was thunderous. She blinked, then blinked again. "Naruto, I know I'm younger. I know it's weird. But when I'm with you, I feel understood. I feel strong. You taught me so much, not just about jutsu, but about lost, healing, being a leader. I respect you more than anyone. And Tsunade held up her hand. "Stop." Naruto braced himself for rejection, but instead, she stepped closer and touched his face. "You idiot," she whispered. "You had me the moment you brought me dango on my birthday." 3 months later, rumors in the wind. The entire village buzzed with gossip. "Did you hear? Naruto and Lady Tsunade were seen drinking sake together, alone. I heard they went on a mission together. Just the 2 of them. I saw them hold hands." Shizen nearly dropped her teacup when she heard it from the market stall owner. Tsunade-sama would never, but she stopped herself. Lately, Tsunade has been glowing. Her eyes were softer, her temper gentler. She even hummed sometimes in the morning. "And Naruto?" He stopped chasing after Sakura. Stopped yelling about ramen every 5 minutes. He smiled more deeply now, like someone who had found peace. Shikamaru, leaning against a post with Choji, muttered, Troublesome love story. But it makes sense. Who else could handle either of them? 6 months later. A proposal under moonlight. It was a quiet night. The Hokage monument stood tall behind them as Naruto and Tsunade sat on a bench, overlooking the village. Remember when we first stood here after the war? Naruto asked. You said you'd become Hokage, and you said I was still a brat, she chuckled. You've changed, so have you, he said, holding her hand. You're softer now. But stronger too. They sat in silence for a while, until Naruto stood, turned to her, and took a deep breath. Tsunade, marry me. Her eyes widened. I mean it. I want to rule Konoha beside you. As partners. As lovers. As equals. Tsunade's lips parted in surprise. She looked at the man in front of her, not the boy she once mentored, but the man she had come to admire and love. Are you sure? She whispered. This isn't a fairy tale. People will talk. Mock us. You'll be giving up your youth for me. Naruto knelt. You're worth more than 1,000 lifetimes. Let them talk. I don't care. I want you. Tears welled in her eyes. And for the first time in decades, Tsunade Senju cried not from pain, but from joy. Yes, she whispered. Yes, Naruto Uzumaki. I'll marry you. 1 year later, the rulers of Konoha. The wedding was grand. The whole village turned up. Sakura cried. Jiraiya's statue seemed to smile. Kakashi wore a formal suit and read a raunchy speech before getting smacked. Tsunade wore a white kimono with golden maple leaves. Naruto wore a deep blue Hokage robe with the Uzumaki swirl embroidered on the back. Together, they ruled Konoha, Naruto as the 7th Hokage, Tsunade as his advisor, wife, and equal. They balanced each other. When Naruto rushed into decisions, Tsunade brought caution. When Tsunade doubted, Naruto rekindled her courage, and their love only grew stronger with time. Years later, a legacy of love. A little boy with spiky blonde hair and honey-gold eyes ran through the Hokage's garden. Mama! Papa! Look what I caught! Tsunade laughed as Naruto scooped the boy up. A frog? Hey! That's my specialty! Their son, Nawaki, named after her beloved brother, giggled. Behind them, the village thrived. Peace held strong. New ninja rose. Old wounds healed. And in the heart of the Hidden Leaf village, love ruled. A love no one expected. A love between a legend and a legacy. A love that began with Dango, Konoha, Hokage's residence. Morning light. Sunlight peeked through the paper doors of the Uzumaki Senju estate. Birds chirped outside, but inside the Hokage's bedroom, peace reigned. Until, Papa! Papaya! A blur of blonde and gold leapt onto the bed, landing squarely on Naruto's chest with the impact of a kunai to the ribs. Oof, Nawaki! Naruto groaned, his sleepy eyes popping open. Why the early wake-up call? I beat Grandpa Hayashi in shogi, the 6-year-old declared proudly. Naruto blinked. Wait. You beat Hayashi Hyuga? The same guy who can intimidate an entire clan with just a sigh. Tsunade stirred beside him, her hair messy from sleep, but her golden eyes full of pride. My grandson beating the Hyuga elder? I must be raising a genius. Hey! Our son, Naruto said, pulling her close. Mama said I will get Dango for breakfast if I win. Nawaki added with a cheeky grin. Tsunade raised an eyebrow. I said that? Naruto laughed. He's your clone, alright. Later that day, Hokage's office. Naruto stood at the balcony of the Hokage tower, wearing the 7th's robes, the red flames licking down his back in the breeze. Tsunade entered with 2 folders. Urgent reports. One from Suna, one from Kumo. He took them and flipped through. His playful side was gone now, replaced by the steady resolve of the leader of the Leaf. His face, once full of mischief, now wore the weight of responsibility with surprising grace. Border tensions again, he murmured. And we just renewed our peace pact. Tsunade sat across from him, her lips tight. We need to handle this diplomatically. Nawaki's generation deserves peace. Naruto nodded. I'll call for a 5 Kage summit. Their fingers brushed as she passed him the 2nd folder. It wasn't a romantic touch, just subtle, grounding. To the village, they were rulers. To each other, they were home. 2 days later, council chamber. Your marriage has strengthened our village, Shikamaru said as he stood by the window, light casting shadows on his features. But peace is fragile, troublesome, right? Naruto said with a smirk. More than usual, Shikamaru replied. There's something else. Rumors of a masked man operating in the western lands. No identity. Just whispers of someone uniting rogue shinobi under one symbol. Naruto's expression turned sharp. Sounds like another Madara wannabe. Tsunade folded her arms. We'll send a team. Umbu, no, Naruto said. I'll go myself. I want to see this with my own eyes. Tsunade shot up. Naruto, no. Not without me. Their eyes locked. Two Hokage, two lovers, now parents. The stakes were higher than ever. You've already died once, she whispered. I can't lose you. You won't, he said, walking up and taking her hands. Because you'll come with me. Meanwhile, in the shadows, in a hidden lair carved into a mountain pass, a masked figure knelt before a circle of rogue ninja. The leaf is weak, the masked man hissed. The boy Hokage and his aging queen rule with sentiment, not power. Konoha needs to burn, for a new era to rise. The rogues roared in agreement. And when the leaf falls, so will the 5 nations. He turned to the wall, placing a hand on a massive carved eye. The Eye of Unity shall open soon. Mission, Western Border. Naruto and Tsunade moved like twin whirlwinds across the rocky terrain. Their movements were perfect harmony, power and precision, speed and strength. A sudden ambush. Masked shinobi descended in waves. Naruto activated Sage Mode, while Tsunade slammed the ground with a chakra-enhanced fist, sending a dozen enemies flying. We're surrounded! Naruto shouted, flipping midair and launching Rasengan. Good, Tsunade growled, cracking her knuckles. I hate long missions without a warm-up. The two fought like gods of war. But then, a black mist rolled in, thick and unnatural. Genjutsu? Tsunade muttered. No, Naruto said, his eyes narrowing. This is something else. A figure emerged from the smoke, face hidden behind a swirling white mask. Not like Obito's, but something more, alive. You're late, Hokage. Naruto stepped forward. You the one spreading chaos along the borders? I am the rebirth of balance. I am unity. Tsunade drew closer to Naruto. He has powerful chakra. The masked man raised a hand. All around them, their defeated enemies rose. Eyes glowing blue. Movement unnatural. Puppets? Naruto said. No, the man answered. Devoted. Through the Eye of Unity, all serve one mind. Back in Konoha, Nawaki in danger. Far away, in the peaceful confines of the Hokage estate, Nawaki trained with Konohamaru when he suddenly froze, grabbing his head. I hear something. Konohamaru knelt beside him. What is it? I think Papa's in danger. Battlefield. Escalation. Naruto's fist glowed with Rasengan energy. You control minds? That's sick, the masked man chuckled. And yet, what is leadership but control? Leadership is trust. Tsunade barked. What you do is tyranny. He raised a hand. Then perish with your ideals. Naruto and Tsunade fought together, creating a dance of chakra. Tsunade shattered the ground. Naruto hurled massive Rasen shuriken, but the enemy teleported. Like Minato's flying thunder god, Naruto's heart pounded. Who are you? Your shadow, the man hissed. Born from your peace. I am the cost of your dream. A huge explosion followed as Tsunade slammed her chakra into the masked man's chest, but he vanished into mist. Naruto and Tsunade stood back to back, surrounded by burning trees. This is just the beginning, he muttered. I know, she whispered. And we'll face it, together. Konoha. That evening, they returned, wounded but alive. Nawaki ran to them, tears in his eyes. You're hurt. Naruto scooped him up. Just a scratch, buddy. You lied. You promised to come back smiling. Tsunade knelt and hugged him tightly. I'm sorry, sweetheart. We'll be more careful next time. Shikamaru arrived with news. There's been an incident in the Land of Water. Same masked man? Same blue-eyed army. Naruto looked at Tsunade. It's war, she said grimly. Naruto nodded. Then we lead. Later that night, quiet before the storm, the Hokage's bedroom was silent. Naruto stared at the ceiling. Tsunade lay beside him, her head on his shoulder. We thought marriage would be the end of our journey, she murmured. Turns out, it was only the beginning. Naruto stroked her hair. Whatever comes next, we'll protect this village, this world, and our family. She looked up at him. And if one of us falls, we rise again. Stronger. Together, they kissed, gently, deeply. Outside, Konoha slept beneath a full moon, but war was coming, and love, true, tested love, would be their greatest weapon. Konoha, Hokage War Council. Naruto stood at the center of the council room. Around him, the great minds of Konoha gathered. Shikamaru, Sakura, Sai, Konohamaru, Hinata, and of course, Tsunade, who sat beside him, was equal in voice and power. In the center was a large projection scroll, displaying recent attacks. 3 villages in the Land of Rivers were wiped out, Sai said. No survivors. No chakra residue. Just that symbol. He pointed to the Eye of Unity burned into the ground. Each strike is precise. Shikamaru added. Like the enemy knows our defenses. Not random. Strategic. It's not just force, Sakura said quietly. It's influence. We've received word that some genin in the land of hot water have begun carving that symbol on their arms. Willingly, Tsunade frowned. They're not just fighting a war, they're building a faith. Naruto clenched his fists. We need to break it before it spreads. Where do we start? Asked Konohamaru. Tsunade spoke calmly. The shrine. The original Unity Shrine was sealed beneath the Valley of the End over 100 years ago. I remember reading about it in Grandfather Hashirama's journals. Naruto turned to her, eyes glowing with determination. Then we go there. Valley of the End, twilight. As the sky dimmed, Tsunade and Naruto stood atop the massive statues of Hashirama and Madara. Their son Nawaki watched from a safe distance, accompanied by Shikamaru and Konohamaru. Funny, Naruto said. We were born from this place. The end of an era, the beginning of ours. Tsunade knelt beside a stone altar at the statue's base. Her hands lit with medical chakra, not for healing, but for sealing detection. Here it is, she whispered. The stone cracked open, revealing stairs that led deep into the earth. I've got a bad feeling, Naruto muttered. Tsunade smirked. Since when did you start listening to your gut? Ever since I married you. He grinned. Underground shrine. The eye awakens. The air was thick with chakra, ancient and heavy. The chamber pulsed with a dim violet glow. At the center stood the Eye of Unity, taller than a man, glowing with life. Naruto stepped forward. This feels like Kurama's chakra, but colder. Tsunade examined the stone. This isn't a jutsu. It's a living seal, like the ones used by the Otsutsuki. Suddenly, the eye flared open. A vision struck them both. Vision realm, illusions of unity. Naruto stood in a perfect Konoha. The skies were always clear. No hunger. No crime. No war. The children laughed. Shinobi stood united under a single banner, and in the center of it all stood Naruto, crowned, worshipped. Tsunade walked beside him, wearing robes of a queen, smiling endlessly. It's paradise, a voice whispered, but Naruto frowned. No, this isn't right. Tsunade's eyes narrowed. There's no free will. Everyone's programmed. The vision fractured. The eye's voice filled the chamber. Love brings chaos. Emotion breeds war. But unity ends all pain, Naruto roared. Unity without freedom isn't peace. It's slavery. Back in the shrine, a trap springs. Dozens of cloaked figures emerged, surrounding the couple. Their eyes glowed blue. The same masked man appeared at the altar. Welcome, Naruto Uzumaki. Tsunade Senju. You've seen our truth. You mean your delusion? Tsunade barked, cracking her knuckles. The man removed his mask, revealing a pale, eerily symmetrical face with no emotion. Like he'd been made, not born. I am Senso, prophet of unity. Naruto stood between him and Tsunade. You won't lay a finger on her. I don't want her, Senso said. I want your son. Above, Nawaki's awakening. As the battle below began, Nawaki felt a surge of pain in his chest. He collapsed, clutching his heart. Nawaki! Konohamaru ran to him, but the boy's eyes began to glow, half gold, half blue. He's reacting to the eye, Shikamaru muttered. He's connected. Hinata, who had arrived moments earlier with Niji, gasped. His chakra network, it's being overwritten. No, Shikamaru said. It's not being taken, it's fighting back. Nawaki stood up, suddenly calm. I hear them, all of them. The voices. The ones controlled. The ones scared. Konohamaru looked at him in awe. Can you hear the unity victims? Nawaki nodded. And I can break the link. Shrine. Battle of two ideals. Tsunade and Naruto fought side by side, but for every cultist they knocked down, more appeared. Senso floated midair, arms raised. I was created by the eye. I am its vessel. Your chakra, Naruto, the legacy of the sage, was meant to bring peace. You failed. No, Naruto shouted, activating Six Paths Sage mode. I chose to let people decide their destiny. Tsunade's fists glowed. And I chose to love, even when it hurt. They launched a joint attack, Naruto's Raisin Shuriken and Tsunade's Heaven Crusher strike, colliding into the eye. It cracked, but it didn't break. The turning point, Nawaki's choice. Suddenly, Nawaki descended into the chamber, surrounded by golden chakra. Nawaki! Naruto shouted. It's not safe, but the boy walked to the eye. I hear them, and I can help. Senso turned. You were born from two wills, love and legacy. You are the true vessel. No, Nawaki said. I'm just a boy who loves his parents. And I won't let you take anyone else. He raised his hands, forming a seal he hadn't been taught. Unity seal, return of self. Light exploded from Nawaki's chest, flowing into the eye. The possessed followers collapsed free. The eye shattered. Senso screamed as cracks spread across his body. Naruto leapt in front of Nawaki, shielding him. It's over, Senso's last words echoed. Even in defeat. Unity waits, it watches. Asterisk asterisk, and then he was gone. Aftermath. Konoha rebuilds. The cult disbanded. Villages rejoiced. The eye was sealed deep beneath Mount Mayaboku under the protection of the Toad Sages. Nawaki recovered quickly, but something changed in him. He was no longer just a child. He was something more. Hokage Monument, sunset. Naruto, Tsunade, and Nawaki sat together on the monument, watching the village. We did it, Naruto said softly. No, Tsunade corrected. Asterisk he asterisk did. Nawaki leaned on his parents' shoulders. Papa? He asked. Will there be more enemies? Naruto nodded. Always. But now, we're ready. Tsunade kissed her son's forehead. Because we have each other. And as the sun dipped low, 3 generations, Senju, Uzumaki, and a new legacy, looked out over the village they had saved. Konoha, Hokage office. Naruto stood at the window of his office, gazing out over the village, his expression unreadable. Behind him, Tsunade sat at the meeting table, her hands clasped tightly. Nawaki's school report sat untouched between them. He hasn't been the same since the eye, Tsunade said, her voice lower than usual. He's not sleeping much. Naruto agreed. And when he does, he dreams in chakra. Tsunade frowned. Dreams? He told me last night, Naruto said. He saw the Sand Daimyo's son before he even visited. Said he felt his chakra signature in a dream. The next morning, the envoy arrived. Tsunade stood. He's awakening. Naruto turned to face her. The world is watching him now. Just like they once watched me. Tsunade's lips parted, her eyes full of quiet fear. But you had Jiraiya. You had me. I won't let Nawaki grow up feeling alone, Naruto said. He's not just our son. He's our legacy. The Fire Daimyo's visit. The proposal. The Fire Daimyo himself arrived in Konoha just 2 days later, flanked by elite guards and scholars. He didn't request a meeting, he demanded one. Inside the council chamber, the Fire Daimyo rose after the formalities. The child is gifted. That much is undeniable. I propose that Nawaki be enrolled in the High Shinobi Diplomacy Corps, trained as a liaison between nations. Naruto's jaw tightened. He's 6, Daimyo smiled. And the Sage of 6 Paths was born divine. With proper training and containment. Containment? Tsunade snapped. The room went silent. I will not allow you to treat my son like a weapon, she growled, voice dripping with authority. Daimyo smirked. That's exactly what his bloodline was made for. That night, family tensions. The Hokage residence was quiet, except for the soft crackling of the fireplace. Naruto sat in thought, his hands wrapped around a steaming cup of tea. Tsunade stood near the window, arms folded. You were about to hit the daimyo, Naruto said with a faint smile. Tsunade turned. I wanted to. He's not wrong, Naruto said carefully. Nawaki is special. But they'll try to mold him. We should pull him out of the academy, Tsunade said. Let him grow up like a normal kid. Travel. Train privately. Keep him away from the spotlight. Naruto nodded. But we need to tell him the truth. Nawaki's room. A hard conversation. Nawaki sat cross-legged on his bed, his eyes glowing faintly gold as he played with a floating chakra sphere above his palm. Naruto and Tsunade entered. He looked up. I know, he said. Tsunade's breath caught. You know what? The Fire Daimyo wants me. The other villages are scared. Even some kids at the academy call me Shinju boy. Naruto and Tsunade exchanged glances. I don't want to be a weapon, Nawaki whispered. You won't, Naruto said firmly. You'll be a force of choice, Tsunade added, kneeling beside him. Like us. Nawaki looked down. But I'm not like you. Naruto reached out and ruffled his hair. You're better. Elsewhere, Akatsuki reborn. Deep in the ruins of Rain Country, a new shadow moved. A cloaked woman with violet eyes and ink-black hair stood before a gathering of rogue shinobi. The eye has fallen, but the seed remains, she whispered. And the child who broke it, he holds its flame. A red cloud swirled behind her. We are not unity. We are clarity. The new Akatsuki was born, and Nawaki was their target. Suna, Gaara's warning. A hawk arrived bearing the seal of the Kazekage. Naruto read it aloud in his office. Naruto, I have seen glimpses of your son's chakra in my meditations. He is being watched by more than just nations. I advise caution. I also offer a safe house in Suna should you ever need it. Gaara, Tsunade, reading over his shoulder, murmured. Even Gaara is worried. Naruto turned, face hardening. Then it's time Nawaki begins his real training. Training begins, Senju rebirth. Tsunade stood with Nawaki at the forest training ground where she once trained Sakura. Focus your chakra into your fist. Let it simmer, not explode. Medicine and power are the same. Controlled. Measured. Nawaki's fist glowed, then cracked the ground beneath him. Tsunade smirked. He's got your fire. Later, Naruto took over. Shadow Clone Jutsu. You've seen me use it. Now try. Nawaki closed his eyes, formed the seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. 2 perfect clones popped into existence. They saluted him. Naruto blinked. At your age? I couldn't even. Tsunade watched from the tree-line, proud, but cautious. Late night. Visions of the flame. That night, Nawaki dreamt again. He stood on a battlefield, older, taller, his body glowing with gold and fire. Around him were hundreds, shinobi and civilians, behind him. And ahead, the new Akatsuki, led by the violet-eyed woman. She whispered through the dream, "You are not meant for this world. You are the bridge to the next." He woke up in a cold sweat. Naruto sat at his bedside instantly. You saw her again? Nawaki nodded. She called me, the bridge. Naruto took his hand. Then we'll make sure you don't walk it alone. Council decision. The protection protocol. The Konoha Council voted. Nawaki would remain within the village but be granted personal guardianship. Naruto assigned 4 elite jonin, Shino, Mirai Sarutobi, Yamato, and Moegi. He won't like the extra eyes, Tsunade said. He doesn't have to, Naruto replied. He just has to stay safe. The calm before the storm. As Konoha celebrated Nawaki's 7th birthday with fireworks, the boy stood beside his parents, holding their hands. But in the trees beyond the festival, a lone Kunoichi with violet eyes watched. She whispered, "The legacy of the golden flame will either save the world, or end it." And then, she vanished. Tsunade's office. The moment of decision. The office was uncharacteristically quiet. No paperwork. No council meetings. Just Tsunade, standing before the window, arms folded beneath her chest, eyes staring into the horizon. Beside her stood Naruto, hands in his pockets, unusually serious. "You really want to do this?" Tsunade asked without looking at him. "Do you?" Naruto shot back. "Because I've been sure since the moment I saw you punch Madara like a goddess of wrath." Tsunade chuckled softly. "Romantic. I mean it." She turned. "Naruto, this isn't a simple relationship. You're younger. I'm the 5th Hokage. You're the hero of the world. This isn't going to be tea and dango. I don't want tea and dango." He stepped forward. "I want you. All of you. Your temper, your scars, your gambling addiction. Watch it. And the fact that you never back down from anything, including love." Tsunade's golden eyes softened. "Then we do it. We will make it official." 3 days later, the announcement. The Hokage Tower courtyard was packed. Shinobi. Civilians. Ambassadors. Even Gaara and the Mizukage stood among the crowd, curious. A raised platform had been constructed beneath the Hokage monument. The crowd murmured. Naruto and Tsunade stepped forward, side by side. She wore a dignified formal robe, a soft jade color, trimmed in gold. Her hair was tied up, elegant but strong. Naruto wore his hero's cloak, the red and white Hokage Haori over a black uniform, his Uzumaki swirl shining proudly on his back. He smiled. She nodded, and then Naruto raised his voice, clear and proud. "We stand before you today not just as leaders of Konoha, but as partners in life. Tsunade Senju and I are getting married." Gasps rippled through the crowd like a chakra shockwave. Shouts. Murmurs. Disbelief. Sakura's jaw dropped. Kakashi sighed in surprise. Ino whispered. "Did he just?" Tsunade stepped forward. "We have fought side by side. Bled together. Lost people we loved. And in that loss, we found strength. And love." The council reaction. Political earthquake. Back in the council hall, the news hit like an exploding raisin gun. Hamiura Mitokado nearly dropped his scroll. Kohara Yuditane looked like she'd swallowed a kunai. "The boy is 20. Kohara hissed. "He is the hero of the leaf." Hamiura countered. "But she is Godame, his senior." Shikamaru leaned back in his chair, chewing lazily on a toothpick. "Troublesome love stories always break the system." One civilian council member slammed his palm on the table. "This undermines the neutrality of the Hokage office, or strengthen it," said Hayashi Hyuga calmly. "They are stronger together." Who better to lead us than two of our greatest heroes, bound by loyalty and love? You would support this? Another elder spat. Hayashi's Byakugan briefly flared. I trust power. And I trust Naruto Uzumaki. Kage responses. Tension across nations. Kumo the Cure. The Reikage crushed a goblet in his grip. They just centralized two Kage-level powers into one household. He growled. They're uniting the Senju and the Uzumaki bloodlines, Aitsi chimed in. Should we prepare diplomatic pressure? The Reikage's eyes narrowed. No. We wait. But we watch very carefully, Kirigakure. Meiturami smirked. I should have married Naruto when I had the chance, her counsel groaned. Konoha public, divided streets. The villagers were torn, civilian mothers. She's old enough to be his aunt, veteran shinobi. She's the best thing that ever happened to him. Have you seen them fight together? Ramen stand owner Tucci. As long as he still eats here. I don't care who he marries. Even the kids at the academy had opinions, Konohamaru muttered. This is wild, Udan blinked. Is this legal? Sakura's breakdown. Later that evening, in a quiet moment, Sakura sat alone under the blooming cherry blossoms. Ino sat beside her. You okay? Ino asked gently. Sakura exhaled. I always thought maybe that Naruto would choose you, Sakura nodded. And I rejected him so many times. But now that he's gone, Ino smiled. He's not gone. He just grew up. Sakura blinked away a tear. So did I. The wedding, unexpected beauty. Despite the chaos, the wedding was set. It was held in the Senju Gardens, ancient, sacred, and bursting with life. Tsunade walked down a carpet of sakura petals in a white and gold kimono, a crystal necklace shimmering at her neck, the same one she had once given to Dan. Now gifted by Nawaki to her again, reclaimed as a symbol of her healing heart. Naruto stood waiting in black shinobi dress robes with a crimson Uzumaki spiral on his chest. His smile could have lit the entire village. Kakashi officiated. I never thought I'd be here, he said casually. But I'm proud. Two of the strongest, craziest people I know, finding peace in each other. When Naruto kissed Tsunade under the blooming trees, the village roared. Post-wedding, political storms and sweet nights. The fire daimyo sent his congratulations, and a request for a private audience. Foreign nations began repositioning ambassadors. Spies were activated. Treaties revisited. Tsunade, meanwhile, threw off her formal shoes, sipped sake in her dressing robe, and leaned on Naruto's chest. Well, she muttered. We've upset half the continent, and made the other half jealous. Naruto replied, kissing her forehead. They sat in silence on the balcony, watching Konoha celebrate in the streets. You think we did the right thing? She asked. I don't care what anyone else thinks, Naruto said. I married you because you're the strongest person I know. And because when I'm with you, I feel like I can protect everything. She smiled against his shoulder. We're not done, you know, she said. Marriage was just the start, he nodded. I know, she added softly. You're going to be a father one day, Naruto. He froze, then beamed. Konoha, Hokage office. Naruto was in the middle of reviewing troop deployment plans when Shikamaru knocked. Yo. Someone's here to see you. Naruto looked up. Who? Tsunade stepped into the office. She didn't say a word. She just handed him a small scroll. He opened it. Read it. I froze. Then looked up at her with wide, hopeful eyes. She nodded. We're having a baby. He exhaled sharply, then broke into the kind of grin that could outshine the sun. We're having a baby? Shikamaru blinked. Whoa. Should I leave? Naruto launched himself over the desk and scooped Tsunade up in his arms. 2 weeks later, council reconvenes. The news didn't stay secret for long. Tsunade's pregnancy was now the center of political debate. Not because it was forbidden, but because it rewrote the future of the village. A child born of the Senju and Uzumaki clans, heir to two of the strongest bloodlines in shinobi history. What are we calling this child? Asked a civilian councilman. A prince? A future Hokage? Kakashi, now the commander of Konoha's external defenses, offered. Or we can just call him a kid. He's not a weapon, Hayashi Hyuga spoke up. There is already whispering among the clans. Many wonder if this child could awaken new bloodline abilities. Tsunade, seated next to Naruto at the round table, calmly sipped tea. My child isn't a science experiment. And no one, not even a Hyuga, will treat them like one, Naruto added. He or she will grow up with toys, not expectations. And anyone who tries to pressure my family will face me personally. Public reactions, joy and jealousy. Civilians, the Hokage couple is having a baby? That's so beautiful. Clan heads, what happens if the child inherits Sage Chakra? Or the strength of 100 seal? Or both? Enemies abroad, they're breeding gods. We must prepare. Meanwhile, in the shadows of Kumo, a clandestine meeting in the land of lightning, the Raikage stared at the report. They're having a child? His advisor nodded. We've confirmed it. 2 months along. Tsunade is temporarily stepping back from active combat. A third shinobi leaned forward. Should we attempt infiltration? The Raikage slammed his fist down. No. We don't attack children. We watch. But this child will become the most watched shinobi in the world. 4 months later, the growing family. Tsunade had stepped down from combat duty but not politics. She still attended every council session, still trained elite medics, and now, occasionally rubbed her small but growing belly mid-discussion. Naruto doted on her to a comedic degree. Did you eat? Let me carry those. Don't use chakra today, I mean babe. Tsunade rolled her eyes. I've survived S-rank missions, Naruto. I can survive being pregnant. You've survived everything. Naruto said softly. But now it's my turn to protect you. She kissed him. Baby preparations, a house full of love. Naruto redecorated their home. Not that he was any good at it. The baby's room was painted orange, bright orange. Tsunade walked in, hands on her hips. It looks like the Ninetales threw up here, he laughed sheepishly. But it's energetic, right? Let me handle the colors. She muttered. Still, he built the crib with his own hands. Tsunade found him at midnight, sanding it down while humming a lullaby. She watched quietly from the doorway, heart swelling. Konoha Festival, public reveal. At the Summer Fire Festival, Tsunade finally revealed the baby bump to the public. Wearing a flowing red and cream kimono, she walked beside Naruto, hand in hand, glowing in a way Konoha had never seen before. The villagers cheered. Young girls cried. Some elders still scowled, but no one dared speak against it now. Naruto placed his hand on her belly in front of the crowd, and everyone cheered again. 9 months. The night it happened. It was a quiet night. Then Tsunade gasped. Naruto, he was up in a second. Now, she nodded. Now, Naruto shouted out the window. Shizen! It's time! The birth of Nawaki Uzumaki Senju. Shizen and Sakura assisted in the delivery. Outside, the village held its breath. Then, the cry of a newborn rang out over Konoha. Naruto stumbled out of the room, dazed, his eyes shining with tears. It's a boy. He turned to the waiting friends and shinobi. We named him Nawaki, Kakashi blinked. After her brother? Naruto nodded. And because this one will finish the dream of peace they all died for. Days later, village parade. Konoha had not celebrated like this since the war's end. Banners flew. Flowers rained from rooftops. People lined the streets as the Hokage family walked through with baby Nawaki wrapped in a tiny leaf-patterned blanket. People who once doubted Tsunade and Naruto now smiled with tears in their eyes. This was no scandal anymore. This was history. Final scene, a father's promise. That night, Naruto sat by Nawaki's crib. Tsunade rested nearby, exhausted but peaceful. Naruto whispered to his newborn son, Your mom is the strongest woman in the world. And I'm going to do everything I can to be worthy of her, and of you. He brushed a finger down Nawaki's cheek. And when the world comes knocking, I'll stand between it and you. Every time. Behind him, Tsunade smiled through half-lidded eyes. You already are worthy, she murmured, and beneath the stars of the hidden leaf, the next generation of legends had begun. Konoha, Hokage residence. 1 year later, it was morning in the Uzumaki Senju household, and the Hokage family was in full chaos mode. Where's Nawaki? Naruto called out, racing into the living room with a milk bottle. In the kitchen, Tsunade said without looking up from her scroll. Learning how to unscrew bottle caps. What? Sure enough, baby Nawaki had the cap of a storage scroll in one hand and was babbling happily to himself as a frog hopped nervously near him. The scroll's chakra seal glowed faintly. Tsunade calmly grabbed the scroll before it could detonate into smoke. You're not allowed to destroy half the house before you're even 2, she told him gently. Naruto huffed. He's already stronger than I was at 3. At the academy, early testing. Iruka watched as Nawaki sat calmly in a circle of shinobi children twice his age. Though not officially enrolled yet, the Hokage's son had been invited for early aptitude observation. He picked up a kunai and flipped it into a tree with terrifying precision. Iruka looked at the results. Chakra flow above average. Hand seal mimicry, exceptional. Reflexes, dangerous. Tsunade stood behind the fence, arms folded. Looks like the council will press for early enrollment, Iruka said. I know, she replied coldly. But they'll have to go through me. Council room. Rising pressure. 1 week later, the Shinobi Council convened. Hayashi Hyuga spoke first. The boy is exceptional. I've never seen chakra threads in a child that young. We recommend accelerated mentorship under the joining corps. Shikamaru, older now, and Naruto's chief advisor sighed. He's 1 year old. He can't even say the word Jonin yet. A civilian elder leaned forward. He's already forming seals in his sleep. Are we just going to wait until some rogue group steals him away? Naruto, seated beside Tsunade, didn't speak until now. His voice was steady, calm, final. We will not force our son to become a shinobi. He will choose when he's ready. Not a moment sooner. Far away, the shadow awakens. In a deep cavern within the land of Claw, a temple buried by time pulsed with chakra, and in its heart a sealed man stirred. His hair was blood red. His skin bore the markings of ancient sealing. His eyes opened, red and blue, split vertically. One eye glowed like a Byakugan, the other swirled like a distorted Sharingan. A voice from the dark whispered, "The child has been born. The fusion of wood and whirlpools. The key to the gate." The man sat up slowly. "Then the prophecy is real." He stepped forward into the candlelight. "I am Ryukin, son of the Uzumaki exile and the lost Senju daughter. And that boy, Nawaki, belongs to me." Konoha. The threat emerges. An urgent report came into Naruto's office. A small village near the border had been obliterated overnight. The only sign left behind, a twisting red spiral burned into the earth. Naruto called in Sai, Kakashi, and Yamato. "It's not the Akatsuki," Sai said, examining the intel. "But the chakra, it's twisted. Ancient." Kakashi narrowed his eyes. "I've seen this spiral before. In the hidden ruins beneath Yuzushio," Yamato added grimly. "This is Uzumaki chakra, weaponized." Tsunade entered just then, Nawaki asleep in her arms. Naruto stared at his son's peaceful face. "I won't let him become a pawn in someone else's war." Meanwhile, Nawaki's power grows. At home, Nawaki's powers began to evolve, faster than even Tsunade expected. At 13 months, he could form one-handed seals. At 14 months, he started healing minor bruises instinctively. At 15 months, he reversed a genjutsu cast on a plant for training practice. Shizen was in awe. "This is beyond Senju. Beyond Uzumaki. It's like his chakra is rewriting itself." Tsunade held Nawaki's hand. "It's like he's born of chakra itself." Ryukin's infiltration begins. Back in the mountains, Ryukin formed his cult, the Spiral Creed. Its mission, to recover the purest Uzumaki Senju heir and open the gate of unity through his blood. Dozens flocked to him. Ex-Uzumaki, war orphans, fallen monks, those forgotten by the world. And in Konoha, deep inside the Genin registry, one masked infiltrator embedded under the radar, watching Nawaki, studying his routines, waiting for the signal. Konoha Festival, the first attack. During the Spring Bloom Festival, Nawaki was carried through the streets on Naruto's shoulder. Children waved. The crowd cheered. Suddenly, boom! Smoke erupted near the east wall. Panic spread. A masked shinobi dashed through the chaos, targeting Nawaki directly. But he didn't make it. Tsunade was faster. With a bone-breaking punch, she shattered the man's arm before he could even draw a blade. Naruto leapt down from the rooftop. Rasengan ready? But the attacker was dead, by self-destruct seal. All that remained was the spiral mark, burned into his chest. Aftermath. Truth revealed. That night, Naruto and Tsunade stared out over the village from their balcony. Nawaki safe in his crib. "We can't pretend anymore," Naruto said. "They want him, and they'll keep coming." Tsunade added grimly. Shikamaru entered quietly. "I found something," he said, dropping a scroll. "A file hidden in the original Uchiha archives. Someone named Ryukin Yuzuzenju. Exiled before the Third Great War. Mixed blood. Hybrid chakra pathways." Naruto's eyes narrowed. "He's Nawaki's distant cousin." Tsunade's expression darkened. "No, worse. He's the ghost of our bloodlines. And he wants to shape Nawaki into a weapon to fulfill his own prophecy." Naruto placed a protective hand over Nawaki's crib. "Then he'll learn what it means to cross an Uzumaki and a Senju." Final scene, the foreshadowing. Far away, Ryukin stood on a mountain ledge, staring out at the world. "The next sage of 6 paths will not be chosen by fate. He will be forged by blood." His eyes flashed, one red, one white. "Your child, Tsunade. Your child, Naruto, will break the cycle." He opened his hand, revealing a black seed pulsing with chakra. "And I will be there, to plant it." Underground, Ryukin's chamber. The Spiral Creed's leader, Ryukin, stood barefoot inside a dome carved from stone and sealed with blackened chakra. His body glowed with the dark fusion of Senju and Uzumaki DNA, and his voice echoed across the chamber. "The child's chakra has reached stage 2. The wood and spiral converging. We strike, tonight." Around him knelt 7 apostles, each a former shinobi who had surrendered their identities for Ryukin's dream. "Bring me Nawaki," Ryukin commanded. and burn everything in your path. Evening, strange chakra spikes detected. Sai burst into the Hokage's office with the scroll. Chakra surges detected near the Naka River and beneath Training Field 12. It's coordinated. Naruto's senses flared. Sound the alert. Get every squad leader ready. Tsunade arrived moments later. I'm going to Nawaki. If this is them, he's their goal. Naruto nodded. I'll join you after locking down the village. As the alert rang out across Konoha, the skies above began to darken, not with clouds, but with chakra smoke. Konoha, the first wave hits. Explosions rippled across the outer barrier. ANBU squads clashed with masked Spiral Creed shinobi wielding corrupted chakra threads and forbidden seal tags. Shikamaru stood atop the south gate, hands forming signs. Shadow Bind! His jutsu paralyzed 5 attackers midair, allowing Ino and Choji to crush them from above. Kakashi arrived next to him. This isn't a raid. This is an invasion. At the Hokage residence, Nawaki targeted. Tsunade and Sakura stood in front of Nawaki's room as a spiral apostle broke through the west wall, landing with a sickening crunch of stone. His mask bore the mark of the spiral, the same swirl that once symbolized the Uzumaki clan, now twisted into madness. You will deliver the vessel, he said mechanically. Tsunade didn't answer. She punched him straight through the wall with such force that the shockwave cracked the garden tiles. Sakura followed up with a chakra-enhanced uppercut as backup attackers swarmed in. But just then, Shizen screamed. A third apostle had gotten past the line and grabbed Nawaki from his crib. No! Tsunade roared. But before the apostle could vanish with the child, Nawaki's eyes opened, and the spiral burned in his hand. A pulse of golden-green chakra burst out in every direction, sending the attacker flying back through 3 rooms and collapsing unconscious in a heap. Nawaki stood in his crib, his body glowing, not crying, but growling. Underground, the true betrayal. Meanwhile, back in Konoha's sensory division, a dark truth was unfolding. Moegi Kazumitsuri, Jonin, friend of Konohamaru, and trusted protector, entered the control chamber and sealed the doors. She removed her gloves to reveal spiral tattoos crawling up her arms. She had been Spiral Creed since before Naruto became Hokage. The chakra sensors began dying one by one. Moegi whispered, "The child must be broken before he awakens the seed of unity." "I'm sorry, Naruto." She pressed her palm to the panel. A massive blackout struck Konoha's entire barrier system. Naruto versus Ryukin, the mountain clash. On the outskirts of the leaf, Naruto finally confronted Ryukin. The man looked like a ghost, pale skin, fiery red hair like Kushina's, and hollow eyes that reminded Naruto of Nagato. "Who the hell are you?" Naruto demanded, activating 6 paths Sage mode. Ryukin didn't smile. "I am what you left behind. I am the fractured blood, the forgotten seed. I am the chain your ancestors broke, and I have come to reclaim it through your son." Naruto launched the first Rasengan. Ryukin caught it barehanded, dispersing it with a twist of his palm. "My body is woven from spiral and Senju essence. I am the convergence." Then he vanished, appearing behind Naruto in an instant. But Naruto was faster. The two clashed in a burst of gold and black chakra, leveling a mountain ridge as they struck each other again and again, each blow shaking the air like thunder. Back in the village, Tsunade unleashed. With the blackout disabling defensive seals, the creed poured into the heart of Konoha. But Tsunade was waiting. Surrounded by enemy shinobi, she activated her strength of 100 seal. The diamond on her forehead burst into full bloom. "You want my son?" she said. "You'll crawl through me." One by one, Creed fighters fell, some from brute force, some from her chakra poisons, some from her bare fists. Beside her, Nawaki stood wide-eyed. And then, he mimicked her stance. Tiny fists. Golden aura. A laugh. He punched the ground. A tree sprouted from the stone tiles instantly. Pure Mokutan. Tsunade's breath caught. He has the wood style. Kakashi, Sakura, and Konohamaru rally. In another corner of the village, Konohamaru shouted, "We hold this line. For the Hokage's son!" Dozens of leaf shinobi formed ranks. Clones. Wind techniques. Shadow possession. Explosions lit the night. Sakura tore through Creed agents with deadly precision. "Nobody touches that baby unless it's to give him a hug." Kakashi used Kamui to seal an entire platoon into another dimension. Kiba and Hinata arrived moments later, covering the east gate. "Let's finish this," Hinata whispered, activating her Byakugan. Final blow. Naruto's vow. Ryukin bled from his lip, glaring at Naruto across the torn battlefield. "You don't understand. Your son was born for this. The seed of unity still lives within him." Naruto shook his head. "No. He was born to break that seed. He was born from love, not controlled." He raised both hands. Chakra gathered like a storm above him. 6 paths. Grand Rasengan barrage. A dozen golden spheres launched at once, each powered by the hope of the world Naruto rebuilt. Ryukin screamed, and vanished in a brilliant burst of light. Aftermath. The village rebuilds. By dawn, the Spiral Creed had been repelled. Moegi was captured, crying, broken, begging for forgiveness. Nawaki sat on Tsunade's lap, playing with his toy Rasengan globe again, oblivious to the fact that he had awakened one of the most powerful Kekkei Genkai in the world. Naruto held his family close that morning. They'll keep coming, Tsunade whispered. I know, Naruto replied. But we'll be ready. Tsunade stood in silence in the Senju garden. Her hand gently rested on the bark of a tree Nawaki had unconsciously grown last week, a vibrant sapling that pulsed with chakra, blooming in the middle of winter. Behind her, Shizen approached carefully. He grew this in his sleep, Tsunade said quietly. Shizen nodded. It's the fourth one this month. The roots spread deep, almost unnaturally fast. Tsunade exhaled. The Mokutan is returning, but not as it was. Nawaki's chakra is blending with something else. Kurama's echo? No. She turned, eyes narrowing. Something older. Something deeper. The council chamber was louder than usual. We can't ignore this any longer, boomed one elder. The boy is a magnet for danger. The Spiral Creed nearly brought Konoha to its knees because of him. Hayashi Hyuga stood tall. And yet it was Nawaki who helped repel them. His existence is not a threat. It's a symbol of evolution. Evolution? Scoffed Hamura. He's 2 years old and already has enemies trying to kidnap him. What happens when he's 5? Or 10? Shikamura pinched the bridge of his nose. If we keep debating his bloodline, we're doing exactly what our enemies want, tearing ourselves apart from within. Naruto, seated in the Hokage's chair, finally stood. You want to control my son? Fine. Try it. The room went quiet. But know this. He is my son. My blood. My soul. And if anyone tries to take his path away from him, they'll answer me. Tsunade's voice rang out next. And me. That night, Nawaki had another vision. He stood in a forest of golden trees. At their center was a black spiral, spinning silently. A figure appeared, red-haired, tall, draped in tattered robes. Ryukin. You've only scratched the surface of what you are, Ryukin whispered. They hide your truth. Even your parents. You are not just a child. I don't want to be like you, Nawaki said in his soft, dreamlike voice. Ryukin smiled sadly. It's not about what you want. It's what the world will make of you. When Nawaki awoke, his pillow was soaked with tears, and the bed was surrounded by roots. 3 months later, Nawaki, now 3, was invited to observe a Genin squad's training under the direct supervision of Kakashi and Tsunade. It was a closed mission, supervised entirely within Konoha's barrier walls. But something went wrong. A creature emerged from the ground, a summon not from the summoning realm, but born of chakra decay. It attacked suddenly, disabling one of the genin and lunging for Nawaki. Without hesitation, Nawaki raised his hand. Vines exploded from the ground, wrapping around the beast and crushing it with terrifying force. But Nawaki's nose bled. He collapsed a moment later. Tsunade stood beside Nawaki's bed as he slept, healing him slowly. He's pushing his chakra to the limit, she said. Naruto stood beside her, arms folded. Just like I did. But this isn't just chakra exhaustion. His cells, they're evolving. Rapidly. He's burning through his own youth. Naruto's eyes widened. You mean, he could burn out before age 10 unless we slow it down? What do we do? Tsunade hesitated. We go to the only person who knows how to manipulate life force like this. The forest of death was darker than ever. Naruto, Tsunade, and Yamato approached a hidden cave deep inside the forest. Inside, Orochimaru waited, smiling, pale, and amused. I never thought the Hokage and his lovely bride would come asking for my help, he said, sipping tea. This isn't for us, Naruto said. It's for Nawaki. Orochimaru's eyes glimmered. The hybrid child. Tsunade stepped forward. Can you stabilize him? Orochimaru stood. I can try. But understand this. Your son carries a chakra that predates shinobi history. It's not just Senju or Uzumaki. It's something primordial. In his lab, Orochimaru displayed ancient scrolls, ones even Tsunade hadn't seen. This is the seed of unity. A chakra anomaly theorized by the first Hokage. A unification of all elements, life and death, creation and destruction. Hashirama believes someone could inherit it. You think Nawaki has it? Naruto asked. No. I think Nawaki is it. It began with Konohamaru, once Naruto's student. Now a highly respected jonin, he approached Naruto directly in the Hokage office. You should consider sending Nawaki away, he said. Naruto froze. What? To the toads? Or the slug sanctuary? Somewhere protected. Somewhere, away from here. You're suggesting I exile my son? I'm suggesting you save him. Naruto's voice went cold. I trained you to fight, not to run. Konohamaru's fists clenched. You trained me to protect the village. What happens when the village thinks Nawaki is too dangerous to protect? Silence filled the room. Tsunade, who had been standing behind the screen, stepped out. If anyone tries to take Nawaki from me, she said quietly, they won't live long enough to regret it. Konohamaru left without another word, but the seed of conflict had been planted. A scroll arrived by Hawk, sealed with the crest of the fire daimyo. Naruto read it slowly. Tsunade watched him, sensing the tension rise in his chakra before he even spoke. They want us to present Nawaki at the next Continental Summit, he finally said. Tsunade's voice was razor-sharp. Why? To prove he's stable. That he won't become a threat, or so the other nations can examine him like an exhibit. Naruto nodded. They're afraid. Of you? Of me? Of him. Tsunade crossed her arms. Then let them fear. Naruto closed his fist. No. We will show them something better. The summit was held in Tetsu no Kuni, land of iron. Neutral ground, 5 kage. Ambassadors. Daimyo. Scholars. Swordsmen. And at the center of it all, a 3-year-old boy, walking between his mother and father with tiny determined steps. Nawaki Uzumaki Senju. The room was dead silent as Naruto stepped forward. This is my son. You feared his birth. You feared his power. You feared what he might become. He looked at every face. Reikage. Mizukage. Tsuchikage. Kazekage. But what you should fear, Naruto continued, is what we become if we turn our backs on him. In the future. On peace, Tsunade added, her voice steady. He is not a weapon. He is not your second coming of Kaguya. He is our son. And we will not let the world chain him in fear just because it cannot control his power. There were murmurs. Arguments. Speculation. But Gaara stood. I support Konoha. The child is the future. And the future must be protected, not contained. The Mizukage reluctantly agreed. The Tsuchikage didn't, but didn't challenge it either. The Reikage simply growled. Watch him closely. A month later, Konoha's northern watchtower was obliterated in a midnight assault. The attackers wore no headbands. They were fast, ruthless, silent, and in the center of the carnage, the spiral symbol again. Ryukin had not returned, but his followers had rebranded, reshaped, now calling themselves the Legacy Creed. Their new goal? Not to take Nawaki, but to clone him. In a hidden lab outside the Land of Fire, the first clone was born. Not perfect, not stable, but alive. Subject 0, a malformed child with half-developed Mokutan abilities and wildly unstable chakra pathways. It screamed for hours, until one of the Creed elders silenced it. Then they tried again. Subject 1. Subject 2. By Subject 6, they had one that stood. He opened his eyes. Not blue like Naruto's. Not golden like Tsunade's, but black, ink black, with a ripple of red. They named him Kawaki. Back in Konoha, Nawaki was growing stronger, faster, smarter, quieter. He no longer played like a normal child. He trained, under Yamato, under Sakura, even under Shino for chakra suppression. And then, one night, as he played near the sacred spring in the Senju forest, he met another boy, about his age, dressed strangely. Quiet. I'm Nawaki, he said. I'm no one, the boy replied. They sat under the stars in silence. They didn't know it yet, but Kawaki and Nawaki had met for the first time. Back at home, Naruto sat on the roof with Tsunade. Nawaki was asleep inside. The village glowed below, peaceful for now. I've fought so many battles, Naruto whispered. Won so many wars. But this, raising a child with you, feels harder. Tsunade smiled gently, leaning her head against his shoulder. It's also the only fight that matters. They sat in silence, wind rustling the leaves. Naruto added. You think Nawaki's ready? Tsunade replied. No. But we will be. He turned to her. For what? For the world that comes next. Epilogue. A choice. Nawaki stood at the gate the next morning, looking back at the village. In his hand was a scroll from Orochimaru, sealed with a riddle only he could open. I'm ready, he whispered, and with his parents watching from the shadows, Nawaki stepped forward, not just as a child, but as a legacy. Absolutely. Here's the beginning of. The morning mist rolled across Mount Miyaboku as Nawaki stood at the edge of the ancient plateau, barefoot, his eyes closed. He was not alone. Behind him, 3 great sages observed silently. Fukasaku, Shima, and Elder Genji, a rarely seen elder toad with golden markings. I don't think he's ready, Shima whispered. Fukasaku frowned. But if he's truly the seed of unity, he must be tested. Nawaki opened his eyes, glowing faintly green. I am ready. Elder Genji raised his staff. Then begin. A ripple passed through the air. The world around Nawaki twisted, and suddenly, he stood in a forest burning. In the Genjutsu trial realm, Nawaki was surrounded by flames. Screams echoed through the trees. Ahead, he saw two paths. One led to a small boy, crying under a tree. The other led to a woman, bleeding, clutching her stomach, whispering his name. He could only save one. This is your legacy, Nawaki, a voice said from the fire. To save the world, you must let some of it burn. Nawaki trembled, but instead of choosing either path, he slammed his palms to the ground. Wood style. Shelter grove. Vines erupted from the earth, shielding both the boy and the woman in wooden domes. The fire receded. Outside the trial, the three toads looked at one another, stunned. He rewrote the test. Far from the Toad realm, in the borderlands of the Wind Country, a masked figure stepped into a ruined temple. He walked with purpose, with silence, with power. Kawaki, now older, hardened. His right arm is etched with black seals. Behind him, for Spiral Creed remnants waited. You will help us reclaim the seed, one said. Kawaki didn't speak. He just raised his hand and obliterated them with a single pulse of chakra. I'm not your puppet, he muttered, but when he turned, his eyes glowed briefly with the same spiral light Ryukin once bore. In the Hokage's office, Naruto stared at a sealed scroll Orochimaru had sent him 2 days earlier. Tsunade sat beside him, reading the notes. Orochimaru claims that Kawaki was artificially seeded with a fragment of Nawaki's chakra, harvested during the Spiral Creed's first attack. Naruto exhaled sharply. So he's Nawaki's brother? Clone? What? Not quite, Tsunade murmured. He's a reflection. Of what? Of what Nawaki could become, if the world turns its back on him. That night, under a silver moon, Kawaki arrived at Konoha's gates. Alone, the guards recognized him instantly and hesitated, but Kawaki raised his hands in peace. I want to see him, he said. I need to see Nawaki. Inbyu scrambled to alert the Hokage. Naruto appeared within moments, flanked by Kakashi and Yamato. They stared at Kawaki in silence. Naruto finally asked, Why now? Kawaki didn't blink. Because I saw the future. And in it, Nawaki dies. Inside the Hokage estate, under tight guard, Nawaki sat on a cushion opposite the boy who carried his mirrored chakra, Kawaki. The air between them was tense. Not hostile, but heavy. You're like me, Nawaki said softly. Kawaki stared at him, emotionless. No. I'm what you could be if you lose control. Tsunade and Naruto stood nearby, carefully observing. Kawaki turned to them. He needs more than parents. He needs protection from what's inside him. Tsunade crossed her arms. He's not a weapon. Kawaki didn't flinch. Then why does everyone treat him like one? Nawaki stood. I don't want to be a weapon. I want to be a shield. Kawaki paused. A faint smile crossed his face for the first time. Later that night, while Kawaki rested in a secure ANBU-protected wing, Nawaki wandered into the Senju forest. Drawn by whispers only he could hear. There, at the base of the oldest tree, he found a stone tablet hidden beneath the roots. When he touched it, his body froze, his mind spiraled, and the memory struck. A vision. He stood in the battlefield of a forgotten war. Fire and wood clashed. Spirals burned in the sky. At the center, a woman stood tall, with long red hair and markings on her face that looked like both Kushina and Tsunade. Mito Uzumaki, the first Jinchuriki. She turned to Nawaki. You carry the seed, child. But you are not the first. Others tried. Others failed. Because they feared themselves, Nawaki stepped forward. How do I avoid their fate? You don't. You rewrite it. She pointed to his chest. Burn bright enough, and you'll ignite the tree of destiny. When Nawaki returned to Mount Mayaboku for his final trial, the sky had darkened. A storm churned above. Elder Genji explained solemnly. This test is not about strength, but restraint. A massive beast emerged from the fog. A fusion of fire and wind, it bellowed rage. It represented fear itself, constructed from Nawaki's worst nightmares. Nawaki prepared to fight. But then, he knelt, and placed his hands on the earth. Wood style, binding blossom embrace. Instead of destroying the beast, he calmed it. Vines grew around it, petals blooming across its body until it lay still, at peace. The toad sages bowed. Elder Genji spoke first. You have passed. Not through dominance, but through harmony, Fukasaku added. You are not the next sage of 6 paths. You are something new, Shima smiled. You are the bridge. A tremor ran through the mountain as if the world itself responded. From the heavens, a pulse of chakra descended, and from it, Nawaki received a chakra crystal, a gift not from any realm, but born from the seed within him. In the Hokage office, Kawaki handed Naruto a small box. Inside it was a scroll. The Spiral Creed isn't gone. They've moved south. Hidden in the ruins of Uzumaki, Naruto's eyes narrowed. They're trying to awaken a being older than Kaguya. What being? Kawaki's voice trembled for the first time. They call it the root of rebirth. Tsunade stepped forward. A living chakra tree? Kawaki nodded. It was created to merge all chakra natures. The original goal of the Seed Project. But it went rogue. The Creed wants to use Nawaki to finish it. Naruto clenched his fists. Then we'll end it before they do. That night, as Konoha rested under starlight, Naruto and Tsunade stood at Nawaki's bedside. He held the glowing crystal, watching it flicker. I saw her, Nawaki whispered. Lady Mito. She told me to burn bright. Naruto smiled. You already do, little guy. Tsunade kissed his forehead. You're our future. But you're still our baby too, he giggled sleepily. Then can I have 3 extra dango tomorrow? Naruto laughed. Make it 4. Epilogue, the calm before return. Far away, in the dead center of the ruins of Uzumaki, a spiral seal burst open, and from the center of a blackened tree, Ryukin opened his eyes once more. I was wrong. He is not the seed. He stepped into the light. Decades had passed since the day Naruto Uzumaki and Tsunade Senju made the bold decision to unite not only in marriage, but in leadership. What had once sparked controversy, fear, and whispers of rebellion had, over time, become a symbol of something far greater: unity, stability, love, and most of all, legacy. The final days of the 5th, Tsunade stood on the Hokage monument, the setting sun bathing her face in golden light. She wore her old green haori one final time. The white flame crest on her back fluttered gently in the wind. She watched the village below, bustling with life, markets thriving, children playing, shinobi training, and the laughter of civilians echoing across the rooftops. It wasn't just a village anymore, it was a symbol of peace. Naruto walked up behind her silently. You sure about this, Granny? He teased softly, slipping an arm around her waist. Tsunade chuckled. I haven't been a granny since Nawaki turned 20. You're the old man now, he grinned. Still younger than you. She elbowed him playfully. Then, in a quiet, more serious tone, she said, I was Hokage through blood and duty. You will be Hokage through heart and belief. You're what this village truly needs now. Naruto didn't reply at first. He just looked out at Konoha and nodded. Then let's build something even stronger, for our children, and their children. The 6th Hokage, a symbol of rebirth. The day of the 6th Hokage's inauguration was unlike any Konoha had seen. Streets were lined with banners bearing both Uzumaki spirals and Senju crests. Shinobi from all 5 great nations came to witness history. Gaara arrived early and gave Naruto a simple nod and a rare gift, a small gourd etched with the symbol of the allied shinobi forces. Peace is your greatest weapon now, he said. Use it well. Naruto wore a new Hokage cloak, white, with the words 6th Hokage in bold red on the back. Tsunade watched from the sidelines with pride. Even the Elder Council had nothing to say anymore. Their doubts had long been buried under the weight of years of Naruto's leadership, victories, and sacrifices. As Naruto stood atop the Hokage tower and looked out at the people cheering below, he didn't think of titles. He thought of Irika's kind smile, of Jiraiya's laugh, of his parents' sacrifice, and of the woman standing below, Tsunade, the one who had believed in him when the world had doubted. He raised his hand. The crowd fell silent. Naruto spoke with no paper, no script, just his heart. A true Hokage doesn't rule, he protects, he listens, he suffers with his people and rises with them. I am Naruto Uzumaki, son of the 4th, husband to the 5th, father of the next generation, and I will never, ever, let our peace be broken. The village erupted in cheers. Nawaki Uzumaki Senju, the true seed of unity. Nawaki, now a young adult, had already become a legend in his own right. With the wood release inherited from the Senju, and the blazing chakra energy of the Uzumaki, he became known as the Blossom Flame, a shinobi who could both heal and destroy with the same hand. But unlike his parents, Nawaki didn't desire leadership. He sought understanding, to travel, to learn, to ensure the seed of unity within him never became a weapon. With his parents' blessing, he journeyed to the land of iron, then the distant ruins of Uzumaki, rebuilding lost temples and planting trees where war once reigned. He met children who had never seen peace, and he gave it to them, through kindness, through strength, through hope. Tsunade's legacy, not as Hokage, but as matriarch. Tsunade didn't disappear after stepping down. She became a quiet but powerful figure, the founder of the Senju Medical Corps, a cross-village initiative that trained medical nin in both battlefield techniques and life-saving ethics. Even former enemies like Hidden Mist and Hidden Cloud sent shinobi to be trained under her. When asked why she didn't stay Hokage forever, she simply replied, "Because my job wasn't to lead forever. It was to prepare someone who would lead better than I ever could." And that's exactly what she did. She taught the world how to save lives before taking them. Konoha, a new golden age. With Naruto at the helm, Konoha flourished. Trade routes extended peacefully. Academy programs expanded. Bloodline prejudice, once a core issue, was replaced with understanding and collaboration. Young Uchiha trained alongside Hyuga. The Inuzuka clan helped police units. Even remnants of former rogue clans were invited to rejoin the Leaf's fold. But most of all, the children were safe. War was no longer a certainty in a shinobi's life. It was a last resort, the last conflict. Of course, peace never remains unchallenged. A rogue faction, the remnants of Creed, emerged once more, now twisted into a cult that believed in eliminating bloodlines altogether. They targeted Nawaki, but this time, Nawaki didn't run. He stood before them alone, calm, composed, and glowing with green and golden chakra. "I'm not your enemy," he said. "You are a curse on this world." One of them screamed. Nawaki looked at the sky. "I'm just a child born from love." And with that, he didn't fight them. He sealed their weapons with vines. He healed their wounded. He let them see what true power looked like. Mercy. After that, the group disbanded without violence, and the world took notice. The final day of the Hokage couple. On the 30th anniversary of Naruto's Hokage inauguration, he and Tsunade stood once more on the Hokage monument. Older, wiser, but still side by side. Nawaki arrived with his wife and young twins. Tsunade smiled and whispered, "Looks like the village has new Uzumakis now." Naruto chuckled. "Then our work here is done." That night, Konoha glowed with lanterns. Children ran through the streets. Elders told stories of the Great War, of pain, of the Akatsuki, and all of them ended with the same words. But when the world nearly broke apart, they rose together. The sun and the healer, the Hokage couple, whose bond was not just love, but the very foundation of a new world, a monument of love. Years after Naruto and Tsunade had both stepped down from public life, the village commissioned something special in their honor, a new statue on the Hokage monument, not just of Naruto as Hokage, but of Naruto and Tsunade together, standing side by side, hands joined, facing the rising sun. It became a pilgrimage spot for young shinobi and couples alike. Beneath the statue, a single phrase was etched into the stone: "Power is protection. Love is the purpose." Together they build peace. Naruto and Tsunade, the 6th and 5th Hokage. The new generation rises. Nawaki's twins, Erashur and Kohani, were nothing like each other, but both carried the unmistakable fire of their lineage. Erashur was wild, unpredictable, and a prodigy in wind and fire release. Kohani was calm, deeply connected to nature, and had inherited fragments of the legendary wood style. Together, they enrolled at the Unity Academy, started by their father, and quickly rose as stars not for their raw talent, but their compassion. During their graduation ceremony, Nawaki stood before them with pride in his eyes and said, "You do not carry a burden, you carry a blessing. The world does not fear your power. It blooms in your light. Farewell, old friends." As time passed, old comrades passed on. Kakashi, the silent guardian of the post-war world, passed peacefully in his sleep, surrounded by students. Gaara, the Kazekage turned peace minister, retired after 3 decades of service and vanished into the desert, his gourd empty for the first time. Rock Lee, still youthful and vibrant, became the head of physical training at the Unity Academy, forever shouting, "Youth!" at the next generation. And then, when the time came, Tsunade passed away in her sleep. No pain, no regrets, just peace, in the arms of the man she loved, her hand in his. Konoha entered a week of mourning. The bells rang. The sky wept. But Naruto didn't. He stood tall on the Hokage monument and said to the people, "She gave everything she had, so we wouldn't have to fight anymore. Now it's our turn to protect what she built." Naruto's last journey. Years later, long after his duties had ended, Naruto set off on one final mission. No enemies, no weapons, just a journey across the shinobi nations, revisiting places once scarred by war, now filled with trees, gardens, and laughter. He visited orphanages, trained young children in control, not conquest, and finally arrived at the grave of his parents, Minato and Kushina. He sat silently, laying his Hokage cloak on the grave. "I did it," he whispered. "I made a family, I protected it, and I loved it." When he returned to Konoha, he quietly moved into the Senju estate, where Nawaki and the twins lived. And there, under a grove planted by Nawaki himself, Naruto closed his eyes one last time and joined Tsunade. Together again, this time, forever, the legacy that lived. The story of Naruto and Tsunade became more than history, it became a lesson, taught in classrooms, etched in books, carried in the hearts of every shinobi. The 5 great nations remained united, wars never returned. The era of peace that Naruto dreamed of, and Tsunade helped create, became a golden age, and every child who looked up at the monument saw not just the faces of leaders, but the faces of 2 lovers who built a world where children could sleep safely at night.